been a very interesting day. So I'm going to talk about, in a moment, I'm going to be talking about moving sources. But first of all, I'm going to talk about the immediate challenges that's coming up, which is our prediction challenge. So we have two challenges scheduled at the moment. One which is going to launch towards the end of October, running to April. We call the prediction challenge. I'll explain that in a moment. And then we're going to be running the second enhancement challenge, which will launch in the start of 2022. So I'll start off by talking about this first prediction challenge that we're setting up at the moment. So if you want to see some more detail, you can find a link on our normal website, and you'll find a link to it with the draft website detailing what we're proposing to do, the rules and stuff like that. No data download yet because we're still doing the listening tests, ready for getting the data ready. So we're not there yet with it already, but you can see the website and see what we're planning to do. And we're always interested in hearing your feedback. So you would have seen earlier today, it seems quite a long time ago now, this diagram of our baseline, where basically we have our scenes being generated, we have our listener being picked, and we have a hearing aid model in yellow. And then that is being passed over to this prediction stage, which many of our competitors were using. That was the MB Story model on the right-hand side, intelligibility model, but also the hearing loss model we were using as well to allow optimization of the machine learning. So the prediction challenge is all about this orange block on the right. So what you're going to get is you're going to get a series of speech and noise signals. Those actually will be our entrants from the previous challenge. So a variety of 10 different systems who've generated us speech and noise through some different forms of hearing aid. You'll also get the clean speech. So you can be looking at intrusive predictions, where you have a clean reference as well. And what we're trying to do is get the speech intelligibility score, let's say the word error rate, but it could be something else, out of the listening test that we're currently running at the moment. You will obviously also, that's specific to the listener, so you also have the listener characteristics as well. And you can decide, when you do this, you could make one big block, prediction block, which includes the effect of hearing loss and intelligibility, or you could use a separate hearing loss model and make a separate intelligibility model. That is really very much up to you how you wish to do it. And so that's kind of be what we're trying to do in the prediction challenge. And what you'll actually get is the audio produced by these variety of hearing aids for speech and noise, the clean reference signals, the characteristics of the listeners, pure audiograms and some other stuff we're testing at the moment. And then these speech intelligibility scores from listening tests, which are currently happening at the moment, where people are just, as you heard earlier on, or maybe it was yesterday, I'm losing track, where people were saying out loud what they heard in these speech and noise cases. So we'll be really keen to get lots of people entering this challenge. It's a bit different to the enhancement challenge, but it's no less important. I guess you think of hearing aids, you think about we've got to make better hearing aids, but to enable machine learning with hearing aids, we need better models of speech intelligibility. So it's a really important challenge that we need to improve our speech intelligibility models that we've been using. And then we've got the second enhancement challenge, which kind of links back to Christine's talk, and there's quite a lot of discussion during the day, because of course people have been presenting what happened in the first enhancement challenge. This will launch early in 2022. The exact date is to be determined yet. And what's different and what's the same as before? So we're going to use the same room, so it's a low reverberant room. We're going to use the same listener profiles in terms of their hearing abilities, the same sentences. We're going to have the same kind of interferer types. So we have speech cases and we have noise cases like washing machines. And currently we're thinking of the same processing limitations, certainly in terms of how far ahead in time you can look. But of course, we had issues raised today about very long processing time. So maybe you'd want to comment to that when you feed some stuff back. The new challenges are we've got multiple interferers, as this kind of diagram on the right shows, multiple noise sources, but also head movement, which is one of the particular reasons we wanted to hear from Christine tonight. So we're going to have, I now know it's an ego motion. There we go. I now knew a new term of head rotation. So this is going to make it harder for people who are doing the beamforming, for example, in the first challenges, because things are going to start moving. But it also means that your interfering noise and your impulse responses, your machine learning algorithm is working off, are dynamic, which makes things, as Christine was indicating for the machine audition challenges, makes it more difficult. So we're really interested in hearing your feedback on what we're proposing to do. We've posted a survey a few times in the chat, which we'll also mail out to you, or we can have a discussion now as well. if you've got any feedback on the prediction challenge that is coming up in the next month or so, we're always happy to hear that. One thing we're really keen on, we haven't really discussed, is how to get more entrants involved. We've got a big workshop here, but the number of people we got was smaller. And I think partly that was down to COVID, which creates lots of problems for people getting resource to do this stuff. And we all know that in research, it's been a huge burden trying to do research. We certainly felt that in Clarity, but we're really keen on how we reach out, because that's one of our major aims here, is to grow the community. Another question we have is also, should we rerun Enhancement Challenge 1? Is it, normally in these challenges, you often rerun and have multiple tracks going. Is there a value in that, or is that going to be something that isn't really very worthwhile? And also looking not only to this moving source challenge, but to the future, what scenarios? I think scenarios is not just where people are listening, but also it could be more broad than that, to do with things like processing and latency, but I'm sure you can think of other things. What scenarios do you think we should be looking forward into future challenges? So there's a few questions to maybe frame a discussion now, but feel free to make any comments that you kind of want, and also to feedback with us as well.